eno ye Extreme Media UJ. Subscribe for all updates.
Honorable Speaker, one, you see, this Parliament keeps being taken for granted. On an annual basis, we have been reminding the executive about the comprehensive taxation policy. On an annual basis. We were here last year, insisting on the same matter. Honorable Musasizi told us that it is going to come, that comprehensive taxation policy. I stood and insisted and I said, can we have a timeline on this? The Honorable Henry Musasizi from Rwanda, Minister of State for Finance General Duties, stood on this microphone and told us that by the end of 2025, the taxation policy is going to be brought here in this house. So that by the time we get into the next fiscal year budget process, we shall have that taxation policy. You promised here on the Hansard. We are now in 2026, coming to the end of April. Did you tell us a lie? What happened? Maybe he encountered some challenges. We need to know, because a taxation policy sets for you the foundation that will then inform you what taxes to increase, what taxes to reduce, what to do away with, etc., etc. Otherwise, we keep gambling. Now let's increase taxes on building materials. You don't know the ripple effect that's going to have. We are trying to fight out with, inadequate housing. You're making it even harder. Then you increase on fuel and all of these different things. What is informing the decisions Minister of Finance is taking, and therefore bringing to this house to take us alongside them? So we need an update on the promise that was made here, that by the end of 2025, the taxation policy would be here. Otherwise, I am concluding that the Minister of Finance was telling us a lie. Finally, Right Honourable Speaker, with specificity to the 200 shillings that government wants to increase as a tax on fuel, the chairman of the report gave us feedback that the Ministry of Finance told the committee that this 200 shillings increment is not problematic. It's not going to have so much of a burdensome effect. That's the feedback the chairman gave us, as told to him and the committee by the Ministry of Finance. This is not true. You see, the thing about fuel, however slight the increment is, there will be a ripple effect on all goods and services. That's just the way it is. Artificially, by the way. It might appear small, 200 shillings. But people will go to purchase clothes and they'll tell them, the prices of fuel went up. They'll go to purchase food, the prices will have shot up, and everything will be blamed on an increment on fuel prices. I hope we consider these things. When we are told, okay, so then where will government get the taxes from to build roads and all of these different things? But you also need to establish that now, when you increase this year, it will affect even your ability to collect what you have been collecting, without a doubt. I hope that government thinks through these things. But also, Right Honourable Speaker, the Inspector General of Government has issued a report and told this country that will lose 10 trillion shillings to corruption per year. Can we stop stealing taxpayers' money? Because when you say we don't have money, where should we get the money from? That's why you're increasing taxes on fuel, building materials, and so on. Let's just stop stealing the money that is collected. Because you collect and then you steal. And then you're asking where should it come from. Let's be prudent in using what we collect. And those are not my words. That's the Inspectorate of Government, a government entity. Can we address that theft by government officials, people in government? Because you collect, and it is the same government officials who are stealing. And then they will tell the taxpayer, you see, we need to build your roads, hospitals, and so on, but you're stealing the money that should be doing these things. So we need to stop blackmailing the taxpayer to say, we are increasing so that we can avail services to you. Money is not adequate. The money is there. Let's have stopgap measures to stop the grand theft that keeps happening. There's information from the Honourable.
Thank you, the Leader of the Opposition and Madam Speaker. The information I want to give to you is that key stakeholders in this country, including taxpayers who are listed, came and appeared before the committee. Some of them are paid very highly by their companies to give their opinions, which they put in writing. Some of them are experts hired. They appeared before the committee. They gave their input, which should have been taken into consideration. But the committee decided to disregard all that information provided by experts touching the matters that are before us, the effect of increase in cement, etc. So I want to inform you that the work of this committee has been brought to us here, disregarded all the efforts that were given to them, and precisely that is the reason why they are in a hurry always to bring. I will take your information. I want to conclude that's the reason why the chairman is even hiding the minutes which he has laid here when he wanted to access, so that I could point to him that these are the stakeholders. He quickly pulled it and put it very far from that side. Now I can receive your information.
Let's have the information.
My brother Wadul today, I think he's spinning things unnecessarily. I would like to give information, Right Honorable Speaker and my colleagues, that the committee received all this information and engaged. It is not true that whatever we receive, we buy in wholesale. We only receive and try to make an adjustment as of necessity. And that's why you see in our proposals, there has been an adjustment on cement, there has been an adjustment on sugar and other adjustments. Why? Because we also consider other issues, not necessarily only the views from the stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Sitting on this other side of this house, I am filled with pain that whereas our committee gave a wonderful report, the minority report, Madam Chair, feels like a commentary. It divests itself from the real fact that government is faced with a paradox at all times to provide services. Madam Speaker, also we must note that some of the assertions accentuated by our colleague member in the minority report are subjective in nature. They're not comprehensive. For example, Madam Speaker, when we come here and say that, oh, don't raise anything on cement. Yes, it is true. A slight increase on cement would directly increase the cost of construction and pull out players in the sector. However, that, if you consider that alone, you're being subjective. Because if you ask a honorable colleague member who is representing Chira and asked him, what is the direct relationship between the newly constructed roads that are going to Chira division and the rate at which housing units are being put up, you will see that, Madam Speaker, when we supply infrastructure, we enable players in the sector to provide for housing. Therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, we should not be gagged to think that when matters are brought and sensationalized here, we should fear to debate them. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to propose that whereas a member here seeks to sensationalize that increasing a tax on the border or the motorcycle is detrimental, yes, I can take a middle ground and say, yes, we could have a slight increase. But we can also here, because we are policy makers, make firm proposals on how we can formalize the informal sector in the border sector.
Procedure.
So, Madam Speaker and Chair of this committee, our members on the opposite side need to understand that every other time government is faced with the paradox of supplying infrastructure, providing services. These are the ones that actually drive the other sectors that we feel are so important. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, Kumi municipality that is represented by Honorable Ogon has the best roads, the best roundabout, the best lighting, that does not just come from heaven. We need to do these taxes on a progressive manner. And that's why I was saying we could get a middle ground. We don't have to take everything. Get a middle ground. We grow bit by bit, year by year.
Abalungi abatuuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tuchaddeko ewa Sheikh Asiraf Dembe.
Sebo sanyise okubalaba amannya agange Seeka Asiraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo. Omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde musomereddwa tumuwa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulomba edduwa. Abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala neetaase enamba yange yeeno eri 0707763711. Nammwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku dduwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze amaka gakolongotana sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amannya go ebyo byokka bijja kummala nja kukulombera edduwa ojja kutereera. Olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa eyawamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.